it, you are authorized to fire at will.
Hey, good Sunday afternoon, evening, Monday morning, depending on where you were watching from. I'm TC. This is MBRR Media. I am coming to you today on, kind of a serious note. Last year, well, let me get a couple of things out of the way. One, thank you for being here. You have no idea how much it means to me for whenever anybody shows up. Channel members, thank you so very much for being channel members. Now more than ever, channel memberships mean a ton to me. What a lot of you don't know, some of you don't know my whole story, and I'm not going to get into it here. Quite a few of you only know me because of the content that you've seen over the last couple of years. I have referenced this some, but my independent investigative commentary, independent media, independent journalism, whatever you want to call it, cost me a career. It did. It cost me a career. And today I did probably the most humiliating and humbling thing that I've ever done. And I started a Give, Send, Go campaign to try and get my head above water so I could get to shore and I could breathe. So the link's in the description. If you feel like partnering with me, there is a benefit to partnering with me if you do that. And it's in the description of the Give, Send, Go campaign. So channel members, thank you so much for doing this. Natalie, massive shout out to my researcher. She has done just a ton of work to prepare so many of the cases, but especially the story that we're going to be covering tonight. Last November, James Weyhaus, a First Nations young man, was in Cass County, and there in Cass County Sheriff's Office, staff received a call of a man with a firearm. Georgie, thanks for being in the stream. People, please say hi, hit that thumbs up, hit the share, hit the like. But the Cass County Sheriff's Office received a call, a shots fired, and a report of an individual walking down the road in a resort area in Cass County. Long story short, gunshots were exchanged. James ended up passing away. He died. He died as a result of the incident. What we're going to do today is we're not going to review the body cam and dash cam footage for the sake of commenting on whether or not it was a clean shoot or not a clean shoot. We're not going to review the body cam footage to talk about James and his extensive criminal history. We're not going to do that. And you guys know this. When I cover a story of someone who I believe has been made a victim, or there's questions that law enforcement needs to answer, I never shy away from the fact that a lot of the times there are criminal histories involved with some of these people. That criminal history does not automatically excuse whatever happens to you. Okay? And my desire to hold law enforcement accountable doesn't mean that every time that there is a law enforcement involved shooting, it does not mean that it's a bad shooting. So we're not doing that today. What we're going to touch on is narrative building. We're going to touch on what I call Copaganda. And that's exactly what the Cass County Sheriff's Office did. They released a very limited amount of video. Thank you, Craig of Scotland, for that. Thank you so much for the $4.99 in British pound sterling. They released the body cam and dash cam video, but they released it in such a way. Well, you know what? We're just going to watch it, and we'll talk about it. because this was very strategic. This was a PR move that was meant to build a narrative. It was meant to build a narrative, and we're going to look at that. And this is not going to be a super long video. I don't have to show the entire video from Cass County to make my point for you folks. So here we go. Are we 5 by 5, everybody? Can everybody see the image on their screen? Ken? Okay, I'm going to get down here in the corner. This is from the Cass County Sheriff's Office very own page from their YouTube channel. This is edited. It is not comfortable to watch. There's lots of redactions, but once again, we're not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to show you something here. One of the first things I want you guys to note is right up here in this corner, when we go back to where he started, where his video started, it's 17:02:42. So that's 5:02:42. All right. So then we get up here.
Caleb!
Walker, we got shots fired. Shots fired. 4 units.
Where is it?
4 units. Over at Basin Resort. Cunningham Road.
Are you hit?
1088.
Are you hit? Are you hit?
Everybody stay clear of traffic. Let me know when you get there. Periscope back down.
This is just so down. Suspect's down, bud. Hold on.
Shots fired. So back down. So no free.
Hold on.
Oh, fuck.
You alright?
My leg.
Okay. You want to see?
Hold on. Let's...
Okay.
Well, time, Walker.
All right.
Everybody stay up there and let's get out there.
So once again, graphic. Can't really see anything, but you heard the gunshots. Now, the reason that this is important is what Cass County wanted you to see. The very first thing here, the very first thing that Cass County wants you to note is man down, deputy rushing in to his aid, to his rescue. That's what they want you to note. But is this how that played out? Why would you lead with this? Well, one, it's to do two things. It's to soften you in a term towards sympathy towards Cass County, which there again, I don't like seeing anybody get shot. And I definitely don't like to see public servants get shot in the line of duty. It's a terrible thing. No one should have to experience that, suffer through that, live through that. Well, I'm glad he lived. The deputy's fine. He lived. And once again, we can break down all sorts of decisions that were made, and we're going to do that the next video. We're going to break down all the decisions that the Cass County staff made in a secondary video. But what they did by leading with this is they softened you. Oh, look, these heroes. Oh my gosh, feel so bad. One of them shot. Once again, terrible that he was shot. And it also builds anger and animosity in you towards James. It automatically makes you want the worst thing that could happen to James. That's what you want. That's what you want to hear, because it's resolution to a bad scenario, right? It's a resolution to a bad case. Cop gets shot, justified shooting of the suspect. Once again, I'm not commenting on whether or not this was a clean shoot or a bad shoot or neutral. That's not what's important here. what's important is how they stitched together this video. And they did it in a very strategic way for a very important reason. Now, we're going to speed a little forward here to right here. Now, this is where he's coming to the aid of his fellow deputy. And now we're going to see the second body cam video. The second body cam video. But it's not really the second. But this is the one they show next. Now look at the time right up here. If you can see my cursor, it's 5 o'clock. So this is before they even had contact with James.
23 Walker. Everything's code 4 and whole day. We're gonna try and make contact.
Everything's code 4. What that means is all clear. Nothing to worry about here. We're good. Don't need backup. We're gonna try and make contact with the individual. Code 4. Nothing to be worried about.
To the party that was walking on Onagum Road.
Come on.
They blur out his screen, but also you note, once again, I don't know how fast he's going here, but another cop playing on his laptop. That's what he was doing. He was playing on his laptop as he's driving. And this part's important because this is Donner. And for the sake of transparency, this Donner is the deputy who was the last to see Jamie Lyle Lucas alive. Not implying anything. I'm not trying to sway your opinion, but Deputy Donner is the last cop, last person that we know for a fact saw Jamie alive. Now he's playing on his computer again. And he's hauling ass. You hear that? That engine cranking? He's hauling ass, playing on his computer. There's no sound. There's been no announcement of shots fired at this point.
Back here. Back north.
Now he knows there's a chase on. Once again, I'm not breaking this down for that, but now we hear the shot. 503. 503. And by the way, this is how fast these things can go bad. They can go sideways very fast. Law enforcement interactions can go sideways with a quickness. Don't ever let anybody tell you that they can't. As critical as I am, these guys never know what they're walking into. And once again, not commenting on whether it was a clean shoot, justified shoot, bad shoot, excessive use of force. I'm not commenting on that. We're going to save all of that for the next video.
Walker, we got shots fired. Shots fired. 4 units. Show me your hands! Stop! Show me your hands! Do it now! Walker, I got shots fired. Suspect down.
Just like that. Once again, we're not commenting on whether or not this was a clean shoot. We're not commenting on James and his criminal history, or whether or not he shot. He obviously, we know he has a firearm. We know that. But we're talking about the narrative. First, what do we have? Very first thing that we have cops called. Cops show up. But the first video we see is not any interactions with James. The only interactions that we have are hero deputy rushes to the aid of shot deputy. Now, sharpshooter deputy. That they're building a narrative here. They want you to be hardened against James, and they want you to be in awe of the deputies. And that's understandable. It's their agency. They don't want you to be harsh and judgmental. But it's very important because this is how they handle everything. And I'm going to give you a summation of why this is so important. So we're going to fast forward here to here they all come. Tourniquet gets put on the injured man. Now, here's what we see. This is what we see. .702, first contact, or 502, very first contact with James. Why didn't we lead with this? Why didn't we lead with this video? It's a legitimate question. If they're trying to report on this in a way that is unbiased, which they should be, they should not be putting on a narrative. And that's exactly what Cass County Sheriff's Office did. They put out a narrative, knowing full well that people would watch this, watch the order that it was put in, and not put any thought into the timing. Because people don't pay attention to these things. They want the juice of law enforcement and violence. They love that. People are drawn to that. They love, oh man, yeah, give me some more cop violence. And the Back the Blue crowd in particular loves to watch cops doing their thing. There's nothing better for the Back the Blue crowd than to see people get their comeuppance. Most of the Back the Blue crowd has no idea what it means to be justice-minded. The Back the Blue crowd believes that cops are there to be the judge, jury, and executioner. And they'll go to great lengths. And it helps when they're fed a narrative the way the Cass County Sheriff's Office put this together. This was a narrative that was fed to the audience. So once again, time. 502, very first contact with James. Steps out of the way, didn't want anything to do with this, put his hands out. We see this, right? Deputy has every right to engage with him. Walker foot pursuit. This is the one that rescued him, that came to his aid when he got shot. That was a fire. That was an exchange of fire between James and the deputy.
we need more units over at my Bayside Resort on Road.
It's James.
1088.
Clearly had a firearm in his hand.
1088. Everybody please clear traffic. Let me know when you get there. Cars go back down.
Now, terrible, right? Terrible situation. Wounded deputy, deceased subject. All of it. This is terrible. But why is it important? And as I'm closing up, we're going to talk about this. I'm going to play for you the way that they should have put this out, because we're not going to go real long here. But we're gonna talk about why law enforcement does the things they do, and why Cass County in particular, why this is really important for us to know about Cass County. I took their video and clipped it and put it together, and notice what I led with. Why? Not to besmirch the deputies, not to besmirch James. Not at all. My whole point in doing this was to say, at the very least, if you're going to put effort into taking all of this body cam or dash cam and putting it together in order, at least put it together in order based on who had contact with James first. Let the story tell itself, right? Let the story tell itself. What parts are important? And really, the most important part is the first contact with the suspect. The most important part is who had contact with the suspect first, and then what happens. The most important part is not deputy rushing to the aid of a downed deputy. Now, in the case of Cass County, the reason why this is so incredibly important, and I want people to understand this, it's not only that Deputy Donner, the man who neutralized James Weyhaus. Please forgive me if I'm not saying his last name wrong, or if I'm not saying it right. It's important for a couple of reasons. One, Deputy Donner last to see Jamie Lucas alive. And I'm sorry, if you've been following me on the Jamie Lucas stuff, we all know that Jamie Lucas is no longer on this earth. He is deceased. 6 years, no contact. Two, Donner's involved in, yet again, something involving a suspect, and he's deceased. Sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes that happens. But Cass County has an issue with building narratives. They have an issue of twisting stories intentionally. They did it with Jamie Lucas, with the former sheriff of the Cass County Sheriff's Office, telling people that Jamie took off to Missouri to hide. That's what he told people. One of my sources up there, Tonda, flat out heard him say this. She questioned him, and he said it to her. So these things are important, and I get it. Cops don't want to be accused of wrongdoing. But when you go to the effort to spin a story the way they've done here, when you take that time, you are telling people who are observant, you know what they say, those of us who are noticers, when you take the time to spin a story ahead of time, as it's released, before there's any conclusion to the investigation, and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension took this over, which is what they do in all law enforcement involved fatalities. or even, you know, violence like this where there's a shooting. When they investigate, they haven't given us any information about the conclusion of the investigation. Donner and the one who was shot, the deputy that was shot, they're still out on paid administrative leave since November because the investigation is still going on. But before anything happens, before the BCA says good shoot, bad shoot, charges coming, whatever, before any of that takes place, at all, they're building a narrative so that when the BCA investigation is concluded, they can say, look, we already showed you. Look at the heroes. And once again, nobody wants to see a fellow deputy, a coworker, somebody that you work side by side with. Nobody wants to see them hurt. I'm not saying he shouldn't have rushed in to help him. He should have. But the sheriff at this time, Brian Welk, and whoever does their media made a very calculated decision to release this information the way they did, to put this body cam and dash cam video out in exactly the way that they did. It's absolutely imperative for us to understand this because, like I said, the more I dig into the Cass County Sheriff's Office, the more I find that they are not only reportedly one of the most hated and corrupt agencies in the state of Minnesota by other law enforcement agencies, but they've earned the distrust of the community because this is how they do things. This is how they operate. They cover up even when they don't need to. They build a narrative even when they don't need to. If they don't have anything to fear, why spin a narrative ahead of time? That's what makes me want to dig into the shooting more. The death of James, it makes me want to dig into this more because of what they did with the release. Oh, I froze. Because of what they did with the release of this dash cam video. I will be putting up my version of this for people to watch without commentary in the days to come. But once again, they've earned the hate. They've earned the distrust. There's absolutely no reason for them to do what they did. And like I said, the more I dig into this, the more into Cass County, the more stories come out. More and more and more and more stories. I'm going to wrap this up here because I really felt like, hey, this would be a good time to bring this up. I'm still working on Jamie's stories, folks. So thank you so much for paying attention to that. Haven't pinpointed date for the next Jamie Lyle Lucas, The Perfect Victim stream. We will be getting that out sooner rather than later, but there is a lot to talk about with that, and even reports from Natalie, my researcher, about what's going on with the video that she has. She has so much video. I have so many images. I have images that are going to show just exactly what the search in Jamie's case or on the 6th of May was like. And also, I'm going to be doing several conversations with people involved with from Jamie's family and whatnot. So, and once again, cannot thank people like Natalie enough, volunteering her time to do so much of what I need done behind the scenes that I just don't have time for. Natalie, she breaks her back doing this stuff for me. 2, thank you to the channel members. Thank you so much for giving every month. It means so much. Those that come in like Greg did today, Greg of Scotland came in today and did a super chat. Thank you so much. Cannot thank you enough for that. It helps more than you know. And I know the economy is tight right now for everybody. I know everybody that I know. I don't hang out with ultra wealthy people. But if you've ever benefited from what I do, if you've been paying attention to what I do, I've never really asked for help like I did by starting the Give, Send, Go today. I'm almost always pointing people to other people. Go give to them. Go become channel members for them. Support Detective Matt Thornton. Go to Blake Mosted's Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe and give to him. I've never started something like this for myself. When Mrs. Media had her heart attack, friends started one and they supported, and we were very thankful for that. But it's ever since I got pushed out of the career field, I've taken a nearly 75% pay cut. 75%. And I'm in a place now where if I could just get my head above water, I would be able to function. We finally have some stability, but I just got to get above water. So if you're willing, the link to the Give, Send, Go is in the description of the video. Otherwise, channel memberships, super chats. And help me hold government accountable. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, Libertarian, Independent, Green Party, Democratic Socialists of America. Help me hold government accountable, because if we don't hold government accountable, nobody will. If they can silence my voice, they can silence your voice. But together, we can break the chains. So until next time, my friends, fight for your freedom. It is yours. Fight for your liberty. It belongs to you. Thank you for everything you guys have done by supporting me, and for even thinking about supporting me. Sic Semper Tyrannis.
We are going for liftoff in T-30. Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Secondary guidance systems engaged. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, it will be on my mark. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at will.